Kyle, I'm sorry about today. Having to spend all of today with Grace like that. Was she able to make it back to your place all right?
Grace just made it back to my place a few minutes ago. By the way, Mom, you let her bring home some cake with her, right? I was doing so good with her. Did you buy that for her at some point while she was with you?
Well, you were the one that let her come over and stay with me for a bit, so I thought it would be all right for her to have some. There is enough cake for you and your daughter as well there. So the three of you should all eat it. But of course, at this point in the day, your little girl is already asleep, right?
Well, Jill is still in elementary school after all. So, 8 p.m. is her time for bed. She's completely out right now. I'll have her eat some of the cake tomorrow.
Please do that for me. Now, when it comes to Grace, I know it's been a long time since the last time her and I were able to meet. But my gosh, she's lost a lot more weight than I was expecting.
You think so? I thought she still had more to lose, to be honest with you.
Really? I mean, look at her. The last time I was able to see her in person, she had a bit more meat on her, and not in a bad way. This time, I didn't want to say anything to her about how thin she'd looking, just because that's none of my business, but has she been feeling sick at all lately?
Well, I don't think she's been feeling bad or anything. She doesn't really say anything to me about it.
Then I really wonder why she's that thin now. I'm not kidding when I say she's so thin it has me worried.
Oh, come on now, Mom. You're going a little too far there. She's not that thin, I promise. These days, women her size are normal.
Kyle, are you trying to tell me that the way she looks now is not that thin? No matter how you look at her, she is way too thin for her height. I'm sorry, but you can't possibly want your wife looking that thin at the age she is. Have you really been checking up on her enough to be there in case she needs you?
Well, I will say that she has gotten a bit thinner since the last time I took a good look at her. But I think that's it. She goes out a lot with Jill to the playground and such, so maybe all that exercise is working. Maybe that's what made her shrink.
You think it's that simple? No human can become that thin from going to the park and playing all the time. There has to be something more behind this. Could there be something going on in her life right now that's really causing her lots of stress? Have you been talking with her at all about her feelings and what she's been going through? Perhaps she's been so overwhelmed with having to cook and clean and take care of Jill all day, every day?
Jeez, come on now, Mom. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you go on and on all day about things that aren't a problem here. You're getting way too nosy about everything going on in my life. All right, Mom? This is the reason I never like coming back to your house to see you.
That has nothing to do with your wife, though. I was just asking about what could be causing her to lose so much weight. But now you want to talk about not ever coming to my house anymore. Can't you at least come once a month or something? I want to see you. It's because of you never coming over anymore that I haven't even been able to see my granddaughter's face in so long.
Maybe next time. By the way, you had a class reunion today, right? Tell me how that all went.
I find that you always want to change the topic when things start to get a little touchy with you, Kyle. This must mean you're doing something to Grace that's making her become so thin, right?
All right. I'll be more careful. Now, tell me how things went. It's been 20 years or so now since you last had a class reunion, right? Were you able to see plenty of faces you haven't seen in so long?
Well, after 20 years of not seeing many of them, it sure was a lot of faces that had changed a bit. But that's the reason we had the reunion. In order to check up on everyone and see what's changed in their lives. Everyone's gotten so old now, and it's really began to show.
Well, it's been 20 years since you last saw a lot of them, and you guys are all getting to that age. And let me tell you, normally people won't talk about how others look like you all have. I guess that's a trait older people begin to share.
I suppose so. Now that we're on the topic, there was one other thing I was surprised by.
What?
I had no idea about this for a long time, it seems. But one of my classmates from way back in the day happens to be your boss now. He told me that you've been working really hard in the office and everything.
What? My boss? Who?
They told me not to tell you who they are, so I'm not saying a word more.
Why can't you tell me? You have me on the edge of my seat now.
They didn't want you to start worrying about their relationship with me, hence why they don't want you learning any more about it. Just know that they think you're doing a great job at work. And if you are still worried, just know that I'm probably not going to see them anymore now. So you can relax and forget all about this.
Well, if you're really not going to be around them anymore, I guess I won't mind it.
Also, if you feel you have the time to be worrying about something like this, then that means you have the time to be worried about what's going on with Grace these days. So please go and make sure she's feeling all right. You have to make sure there isn't something more serious behind everything. What if it's cancer or something? You never know unless you go and talk with her more about it.
All right. I hear you. I'll make sure she's fine. Well, I've got work in the morning, so I'm gonna hit the hay. Good night.
Alrighty then. Good night.
Grandma, can you teach me how to make chicken noodle soup?
Jill, what's been going on with you now? I can teach you the recipe and everything for the soup, but it's rare of you to ever text me about anything. Why do you need to learn from me how to make chicken noodle soup? I don't remember you ever liking things like chicken noodle soup at all.
Mom's fallen ill and she's not able to eat any food. So I wanted to make something easy for her to eat. I always eat chicken noodle soup when I'm sick, right?
Your mom has fallen sick? Where's your dad? You have to go and tell your dad to take her to the doctor right away.
I know that, but right now, Dad's not home.
Is he outside in the yard? It's the weekend now, so your dad shouldn't be at work or anything, right? He should be at home with you all. Let me call him for you, and he should be able to come back inside in no time.
I did call him about this, but he said he's not coming home. He told me to take care of Mom for him.
Your mom fell ill, right? And he's told you that he won't come home to help her? Where is your dad right now?
He told me he's at his girlfriend's house.
Huh? Girlfriend's house? You're telling me that your dad has a girlfriend?
Yes, he does. He has a girlfriend.
I'm sorry, Jill. Right now your grandma's a little surprised by all of this. Does your mom know that your dad has a girlfriend?
Yes. Mom knows about her.
Is that right? And your mom has not said anything to your dad about it?
When she tries to talk to him, he doesn't listen. I know that Mom likes to go and cry a lot when he's not home. But I don't like it when Mom is crying like that.
I don't like it that she's crying either. I don't think anyone should.
Yeah. But, Grandma, I think this is all my fault.
How could any of this be your fault? You're saying it's your fault your mom is crying?
Before, Mom and Dad were fighting, and I went to Mom to ask her something. I asked her to stop fighting with Dad and to be friends again.
Well, it's not your fault for asking that. You are not to blame for anything, Jill, okay? Have their fights only started to get worse now?
No. After asking that, they no longer fight anymore. But after asking that, Mom started to feel and look bad. She no longer looks happy around any of us. She doesn't want to eat her food anymore, and she gets sick a lot more and becomes really hot.
Jill, I think you telling your mom not to fight anymore with Dad made her worry about scaring you. But you thought it was your fault that your mom is always crying now because she only started to do it after you said something?
Yes. I think that I did something bad and that it's my fault. Hey, Grandma, am I a bad girl? Am I really a bad girl to my mom and Dad?
Not at all, Jill. And I don't think your mom thinks of you as a bad little girl either.
Really?
Yes, really. And that's why right now, your mom would rather be sick and cry alone rather than fight with your dad in front of you.
What do you mean?
Don't worry. You don't have to know about any of this at your age. Also, we should be worried about your mom right now, okay? Is her head really hot right now?
Yes. She told me earlier that she started to feel really sick again, too. What should I do, Grandma?
You can calm down, Jill. I'm going to get in my car right now and come over to your house.
Is that okay?
Of course it's okay. I want to get you and your mom and take your mom to go and see the doctor right away. And then after she's been cared for by the doctor, we can all go back home and make chicken noodle soup.
Okay.
Just wait a little bit with your mom. I'm coming to your house right now. Kyle, I have something very, very important to talk with you about. When you have time, you reply to me right away. I'm sure you're looking at your phone right now, right? This is something very important to your whole family, so I want you replying to me right now.
What do you want, Mom? I'm really enjoying my day off from work, and you keep annoying me. What could you possibly have to talk with me about that has you messaging me nonstop? Did something happen to you?
I took Grace and your daughter to the hospital with me.
To the hospital? You took Grace to the hospital? Why would you be taking her to the hospital on a weekend?
Jill told me that her mom had passed out after having a fever all day long. So I ran over to your house right after hearing that.
Is that right? And? Did the doctor find anything life-threatening out about her?
They say that this was all due to a simple cold, and as of right now, she's on fluids and is being treated for it. She's even had a couple bites to eat and took her medication. Now she's off to bed. So, you don't have to worry about her physical health right now. Not about her cold, at least.
I'm sorry about that, Mom. You had to do a lot of things, all for something else she should have been able to handle herself as a grown woman. Well, if there isn't a problem now, that's great.
You don't think there's any more problems now? You know for a fact that there are still plenty of them that need to be dealt with now. There are far too many problems right now for you to be acting so nonchalant about.
But you told me that Grace is starting to look a lot better now, and that it was just a simple cold. Are there any other problems with her?
There are. Leaving a woman like that in the care of a child when she's passed out on the floor with a fever? We have so many problems now because you thought it was all right to stay out and keep messing around.
Wait, are you talking about me? Now I get what you're trying to say there, Mom. But there was a reason that I couldn't just come home to help out.
Well, explain that to me then. What reason do you have?
I was out with my boss from work playing a few games of golf. And I have to keep up a good image with the big man in order to have any chance at a large promotion in the future. To be honest, I didn't even know about Grace having a fever in the first place before leaving today. So, I'm sorry, but there was nothing I could do today.
For crying out loud! You are not a frickin' child anymore, Kyle! So stop telling me such weak lies as that, because I can see right through them.
Huh? What kind of lies do you think I'm telling you? I'm not lying about a single thing, alright?
You went out on a date with your girlfriend, right? Jill told me everything about that.
My girlfriend? Please. Why would I ever have one when I've got a wife? I'm married already. I think that Jill has just made some kind of mistake, which happens often with little girls her age.
Well, your wife is telling me the same thing here. However, it took her a long time to start talking about that with me because she was scared. Are you trying to tell me that both your wife and daughter are mistaken now?
That witch started to talk now? Well, you're going to figure out all about this sooner or later. So, I guess it doesn't matter.
So what you're saying is it's true that you have a girlfriend, right? You're agreeing? You left your sick wife at home and went out to have an affair?
Well, I never kept any of this hidden from Jill or Grace anyway. Actually, I think we all did one hell of a job keeping it hidden from you. I have to commend my family for that. I had assumed Grace would be the type to tell you right away about all of this.
From the way you're telling me that, you must not know the reason as for why she never came to get help from me. You really are such a pathetic little boy. I am saddened by all that's happened within my family.
I think I know the reason she never blabbed about it. She probably didn't want a divorce because she'd never be able to survive on her own in this world. She's a smart cookie, and knows that if she told anyone outside of my house, I might leave her and Jill and she'd be left to die. Huh.
That's not her reason at all.
Then tell me what it is.
You never hid the fact that you were cheating on your wife from Jill, right? That means Grace could have had it easy in court. She could have gotten a huge settlement from you and the full custody of Jill without even having to break a sweat. She had no reason to not tell me because of a divorce and her not being able to manage afterwards.
So? Tell me the frickin' reason, Mom.
She chose not to tell anyone for Jill's sake. Jill had asked your wife to make up with you after what you'd told them, and she didn't want you two fighting anymore. And that's why Grace had to suck it up and hope for the best while sacrificing herself to act kindly around you.
Huh? You're gonna tell me that for a reason as stupid as that, she chose to avoid divorce? What a freaking idiot she is! There could be so many other reasons better than that, yet she chooses to use this as the most stupid of them all?
You are a frickin' bastard. You're right. There may have been better reasons to not have wanted a divorce from you. But I think her reasoning for staying quiet and never fighting back at you anymore was the best reason out of all of them. And by the way, the fact that you're sitting there on the other end of this phone laughing at Grace for being an idiot makes you the real idiot.
Alright. I see now. And? Are you only texting me right now to try and preach to me about this? Can we be done here? Unlike you and those other two, I'm a very busy man.
Yeah, we're done here. I figured you out and have no use in talking to you anymore. And because of that, Grace and I are all ready to go.
Ready to go? Don't make me laugh. Let me tell you right now, that even if Grace does choose to divorce me, I won't care. Losing her, losing some money, and losing custody of Jill will not bother me any. Do you understand that?
What about if I told you I'd be cutting ties with you as well?
Honestly, I've been fed up with her for a long time now. So if you're gonna cut ties to me as well, then be my guest and leave. If Grace really wants a settlement and custody of the brat, then she can have it all.
Wow. Are you sure?
Yep. Do whatever you guys want. I don't care about any of you.
Well then, we will do what we want from now on. But when you regret what you've said here today, I'm not going to listen. All right?
I told you to go already. I plan on getting married to my girlfriend now, so there's no going back to any of you. No matter what you guys try and do about any of this, it's too late to change my mind.
Kyle, thank you so much for getting that divorce from Grace. Because of that, now the two of them can live a happy and healthy life.
Huh? Are you trying to play with me now? By the way, wasn't it you that said you were cutting ties to me after the divorce? Why are you talking to me now after saying all that crap? I'm very busy right now, so just stop talking to me.
What's wrong? Are you sure that you're really that busy right now? What's been going on that's kept your hands tied up?
It has nothing to do with you, Mom. I just told you that you wanted to cut ties to me, so you're nothing but a stranger now. So go the hell away and leave me alone.
Wow, you seem to have woken up on the wrong side of the bed today. Ah, that's right. There is a reason for you being so busy at the moment. Can I take a few guesses as to what the reason could be?
Huh? What the actual frick is going on with you? You're starting to really get on my nerves here. Even if you were still my mom, I'd want you to stop all that crap.
Okay then, okay. I'm assuming that you're so grumpy because you're no longer able to talk to your girlfriend, right? Maybe she doesn't want to talk to you anymore?
What are you talking about?
You're asking me that? I thought that was the reason as to why you're acting like such a witch right now. I mean, you had been talking about how you'd marry her, right? Not being able to get any replies from her would drive you insane, right?
Why do you know about all of that?
Well, I have a great reason for knowing. I learned about you and her from her dad.
You heard from her father?
Well, this world is really that much smaller than many of us like to think. To think that the woman my son had been cheating on his wife with would be one of my old classmates' daughters. I never thought that going back to another reunion after 20 years would teach me something as interesting as that.
Are you talking about the person you met? That you said he was my boss?
Right on the mark. He happens to be the man in charge of you in the office. It's just crazy learning about how my son was having an affair with his boss's daughter like that. I'm sure you're starting to get all stressed out over this now, huh? And you thought that me finding out about you cheating on your wife wouldn't cause you any harm, right? You really are the stupidest man this side of the earth.
You stop playing with me this minute. Are you trying to tell me that the reason she has been responding to me is because you told my boss about this? What the hell do you think you were doing?
What? Are you starting to get upset with me now? I think you should stop acting so childish right now, Kyle.
Am I not supposed to be this upset with you? You screwed things up for me now, so I have every right to be pissed off at you.
But you said it yourself, right? You told me that we were free to do whatever we wanted. So all I did was the things I wanted to, like you said. It's a bit strange of you to start complaining about that now, after you said you wanted that from us.
If I'd have known things would have turned out this way, I would have never told you that. What the hell am I going to do now?
Do about what, Kyle?
Stop acting like this whole situation isn't completely screwed now. You know dang well that my boss is going to be pissed at me now, right?
Well, I can see why he would be, yes. Of course his daughter is to blame for a lot of this as well. But you were the one that chose to cheat on your wife, so he's going to choose you to be his next victim.
You've gone and pissed off the company I work for. How am I supposed to go into work now when everyone is going to hear about this? Did you know that both my girlfriend and I were planning to pay Grace that settlement? But now I'm not even going to be able to talk with my girlfriend about it anymore. What the hell should I be doing right now?
Asking me what you should do isn't going to get you anywhere. How about you settle down and think all this through yourself?
You have no right saying that crap to me after forcing me into this mess. Do you not feel bad about the things you did to your own son?
I'm so sorry, but I don't have any sons. All I have left now is my wonderful daughter and my cute little granddaughter. I am only the mother of a woman in this house, and in order to make sure they are both treated the best, like they should be, I can't focus on some deranged stranger like you. After that, the divorce of Kyle and Grace ended up going really well, and she was awarded custody of her daughter. Of course, she'd also be getting money from Kyle in the form of a settlement, and he'd still have to pay her child support every month until Jill turns 18. Along with this, talks about what had happened in Kyle's family began to spread around his office, and that ended up losing him his promotion that he was seeking out. Soon after that, though, everyone continued to give him the cold shoulder, and not long after, he quit his job there. And on top of that, he no longer was able to get in touch with his girlfriend, like he told me before, and was left with nobody by his side willing to help him. Right now, he is working a part-time job at a gas station, and is using all the money he earns to pay off the settlement and pay child support to Grace. When it comes to the girlfriend of Kyle and the settlement she owes, her father, the boss of Kyle, before Kyle quit, stepped in and paid the settlement in full as an apology for what his daughter did. A few weeks after the well-deserved divorce, Grace has begun to feel a lot better and started to eat a lot more again to fill up the skin and bones she'd been for so long. The reason that Jill never wanted her mom fighting is because she really hated to see her in such a hopeless state. But now that those two are no longer in the presence of Kyle, Jill has been able to see her mom's smiling face a whole lot more. Those two happen to be living close by to my house right now, and are so close to me now that I can go over to their house every day to say hi and help out. I'm going to make sure that for as long as I'm alive and well, I cater to those two as much as possible, as they both deserve to be treated after the monster that was Kyle.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story. Oh, Sasha, hey there, how's it going? I bet that you're looking pretty pregnant right about now, aren't you?
Hey there, Donna. Yes, I'd say I've gotten pretty big now. The baby bump is certainly noticeable. For anyone with eyes, really.
Well, I heard that you were really nervous about how you were going to raise the child. I even heard that you were asking your mother-in-law for help or any tips that she might be able to give you.
That is very true. I did go to her and ask for some help with this. I mean, this is my first child after all, so I just feel like there are going to be so many things that I don't know. But thankfully, Linda listened to all of my worries and was very good at calming me down and making me feel better.
I see. Well, yeah, I guess that she would be pretty good at that, considering the fact that she's been a mom for decades now. But you could have also come to me and asked for advice too. I'm also a mom, don't you know? Besides, we're basically like sisters, so there's no need to feel embarrassed about asking for a little friend's advice, right? I mean, after all, I'm your brother-in-law's wife. We're basically family, don't you think?
I really do appreciate you offering to help me when I'm nervous, Donna. But I actually really just happened to be visiting Linda when I asked her. It wasn't like I went out of my way to ask her advice specifically.
Wait, hold on a second. Just how often are you meeting with Linda?
Well, I guess pretty often now that I think about it. I mean, you know how easily sick I get, right? Well, she actually comes over to my house pretty often to help me keep the place clean and running. And so I guess we do actually end up spending quite a bit of time together like that and just talk about whatever is on our minds.
Is she coming over to your place because of how often you get sick? Doesn't that make you worried about your pregnancy at all? I mean, are you worried that your condition might affect the baby or something?
Yes, of course I'm nervous about that. I get so worried about my baby. So, I have done all I can to follow the doctor's advice as close as possible in trying to do this the right way.
Wow, I see. I guess I never knew just how fragile your body really was. I mean, you know that I've had 5 kids by this point, right? I never had any problems with a single one of them. They all just popped right out.
See, I really think that's incredible if I can be honest with you. I mean, not only did you go through pregnancy 5 times, but now that your husband has been living away for business, you're raising all 5 of them by yourself. I really just have to come out and tell you that I have nothing but respect for being able to do all of that. I'm really not sure if I could handle it.
I guess you are right about that. I am pretty great now that I think about it, aren't I? Besides, you know all the news about people having less kids, right? I just figure that I'm doing my part to make up the difference is all. Which reminds me, I meant to ask you, just how many kids do you think you and your husband are going to have in the end?
Oh, well, for now, we're just thinking of having 1 kid. I don't think we'd want any more than that. And of course, there's my physical health to be worried about as well.
Wait, what? Are you serious? You're really only thinking of having 1 kid? But that's crazy talk.
Is it really that bad? I mean, did you even know that you were going to want 5 kids before you had them all?
Oh, well, I suppose when you put it that way then now. I didn't really expect this. I always thought that I would only be having a couple of kids. But then all of a sudden, I got pregnant a 3rd time, and before you knew it, I had 5 kids.
So then after the 2nd kid, the ones after that just sort of came along?
Basically, yes. It wasn't that I didn't want to have them, but by the time I got pregnant, I figured, what the heck? Why not go through with it?
Wow, that is just... I really don't know if I could do something like that, you know?
Really? Is it that big of a deal? Just what is it about having a kid that makes you so nervous? You know that you can ask me anything you want about the process. I've gone through it quite a bit at this point.
I guess I'm just kind of worried about what I'll do when I go back to work and don't see my kid until I come home. And about how much money I should be putting away for them for their future. And then, of course, there are all kinds of insurance things to worry about. I guess really when it all boils down to it, most of what I'm worried about is money. How do you do it with 5 kids if you don't mind my asking? I mean, no offense, but I can't imagine that it's cheap to raise so many little people, right?
Yeah, it isn't cheap for sure. That's why I don't really bother with any of those funds or savings or putting away things for the future.
Oh, really? You mean you haven't really thought ahead for any of your children at all?
I just think that parenting should be an unplanned and spontaneous kind of thing that gets decided right then and there. I don't really see the point in worrying about something that might not even end up happening in the future, you know?
Well, I guess that makes some sense. But what happens if there is some kind of emergency where you need funds right away? You really can never know what's going to happen, especially with that many children, right?
Nah, it really is all fine. I mean, kids go out and play and they get hurt and then they get better. I just let them raise themselves, basically.
I see. Well, what about college? Do you ever think of that? Or what if one of your kids needs special tutoring or has some expensive camp or activity that they want to try doing?
Meh, I think kids find ways to entertain themselves, you know? You don't need to get them anything too fancy. And as for college, I really don't see what you need that for. I mean, the state says you're an adult at 18, so I think my children should be able to take care of themselves by then. They'll be old enough.
You really think that your children are going to be ready to live on their own right when they turn 18?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they would have basically been raised, taking care of themselves, so it'll be an easy transition, really. I guess I'm really just a kind of go-with-the-flow person who really doesn't try to get upset when it comes to raising my kids. Does that make any sense?
So you really don't get mad at your kids for anything? Don't you think there are some things that are maybe worth getting upset at your children for? I mean, how do you teach them that they've done something wrong if they can't see that you're upset?
I don't really think it's my job as their parent to do all that stuff. I think our main job is just to have the kids, and after that, they're on their own. I mean, why else do I pay taxes for schools if not so they can raise my children for me, right? Besides, I don't really see any laws saying that it's my job to do anything more than feed and clothe them, really.
Sure, but I mean, okay, well, do your kids study well in school?
I would have to say no, given some of the report cards that I've seen. And I never ever see them doing any homework either.
So then, don't their teachers at school get mad at them for not doing their work?
No, I don't really think their teachers get mad at them for anything. I mean, who even cares about homework, really? You know what I mean? Did you know that in other countries, they don't even have homework? Everyone knows that it's just busy work to keep children preoccupied anyways. So I just let my kids play and enjoy their life instead.
So then, if one of your kids did come to you and say that they wanted to go to college, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that they are free to make that choice if that's what they want. And then I would tell them to get a job and start saving up for it, because it isn't going to be cheap.
I see. I guess I just always thought it was parents' jobs to try and give their children as many opportunities as possible. So rather than just letting them run around doing whatever they want, you can help guide them towards a future they would want.
Hold on a second. Just what are you trying to say here? Are you trying to imply that I don't care about what happens to my kids?
No, of course not. But it just seems to me that maybe there's not a lot of planning when it comes to them. I mean, you said yourself that you don't save any money for them.
And just who do you think you are to be telling me how I should be raising my kids, huh? I mean, you haven't even had any kids. I don't remember ever asking advice from you anyways. Where do you get off trying to critique how I raise my family?
I'm really sorry, Donna. I didn't mean to upset you or anything like that. I guess I'm just realizing that we have very different outlooks on life. But you've given me a lot to think about, and I really do appreciate that. So thank you for talking to me about all of this. Hey, Donna, are you there? I just wanted to let you know that your kids are all at my house. Do you have any idea what this is about? I don't really remember you saying anything about them coming over.
What are you talking about? Of course I told you that they were going to go over and stay with you for a bit. I'm giving you a little taste of parenthood before you have to deal with the real thing.
I'm sorry, what? I feel like I'm not quite following along. Are you really serious about that?
Well, you were the one who came to me, so worried about being a parent, remember? So I just thought that I'd give you a little taste is all.
I see, but having to take care of all 5 of your children isn't going to make me any less worried about having my own. Besides, taking care of 5 kids all of a sudden is way too much for me. Can you please just come and get them?
Oh, please. What are we talking about? This is going to be a walk in the park for you. After all, you were confident enough about everything to not even come to me for advice first, right?
But the last time that you and I talked about parenting, you just got really mad at me.
Well, that's because you were completely ignoring the advice I was giving you. So since you're that confident, why don't you prove to everyone that you're as good a parent as you say?
I never really said I was a good parent or a bad parent. I'm really sorry if that's what you got from our talk. All I was saying was that I think our views are maybe a little too different from our parents' styles to really have much overlap.
But you don't even have a parenting style yet. Besides, you were acting like you know what was best for my children. So why don't you go on and take care of them and prove that to me then? And if you do a good job, then I won't ever try and tell you how to raise a child ever again.
I'm sorry, but I really don't think I need to go through any of this just to please you.
Are you forgetting who you are in this family? I'll remind you that I'm married to your husband's older brother. That puts me in charge of you, and you have no right to tell me no when I ask you to do these things. Now you are going to watch my children, and that is that. It's only going to be for a few days anyway.
Hold on a second. You're going to leave all 5 of your kids here for a few days?
Well, yes, they're all on summer break, and I told you that I don't sign them up for camps. But I have to go and put them somewhere. So I thought this would be the perfect plan.
No, you can't do this. I mean, my husband just left for a business trip and I'm at home all by myself.
Oh, yes. I know all about that. That's why I chose today to send them over.
But there won't be a moment of peace and quiet around here the whole time that they are here. I told you that I need to keep myself calm so that I don't overexhaust myself while pregnant.
Oh, please. You just want everyone to treat you with kid gloves just because you're pregnant. Well, I'm telling you that I've done it 5 times and I never asked anything of anyone. You should be thankful that I'm giving you this chance before you have a child of your own.
Please, Donna, I seriously just won't be able to do this. They are making a huge mess of the house already. Some of your kids are throwing our belongings all over the place. Shouldn't they know better than to do this to someone else's house?
Well, you know that kids will be kids, right? I mean, they're just having a little fun is all. This just goes to show that you need more experience raising them, so you can start to learn with my kids. Oh, Sasha, I just wanted to check on you since it's been a few days. How are things going for you? Shall I come over and pick them up?
You weren't even at home this whole time, were you? I tried calling you a bunch of times, but you weren't picking up.
Well, I figured since I finally had the house to myself that I would take a little vacation with some friends. I had a lovely time. It was just the break I needed from being such a busy mom.
So you left your children at someone else's house so that you could take a trip with your friends? Well, I hope you had fun.
Well, when you're a hardworking mom like me, sometimes you just need a break. I'm sure you'll find out about all that eventually. But anyways, I'm just glad that we're both able to give each other an important experience like this. I hope you enjoyed taking care of my children while I was away.
No, actually, I'm afraid I had to give up on that rather early. It was just doing a number on my body and I couldn't handle all the craziness going on in my house.
Wait a second. So you're telling me that you didn't watch my kids?
That's exactly what I'm telling you right now, yes.
But, wait, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Where are my kids then? What did you do with them, huh?
Well, I took your kids to go stay with their Grandma Linda, of course. I told you that I just couldn't handle them here.
You sent all of my kids to go be with our mother-in-law? Why would you do that?
Because I called her and told her what was going on and that I couldn't handle dealing with all your kids. Then Linda said that she would take care of them for me.
You've got to be kidding me. So you're telling me that for the past few days, all of my kids have been with Linda and not you?
That's right. I just knew that I had to send them away since I was pregnant. But I've heard that they were also acting up terribly in front of Linda as well. They even broke several glass things, tore up the carpets, and even destroyed some art in her house.
Did my kids really do all of that? I had no idea at all.
Well, I think even Linda tried to be patient with them at first, but ended up having to call in her husband for help. You did know that Frank used to be a drill sergeant in the military, right? Anyways, I guess the two of them got angry with your children and tried to set them right.
Oh no, this is really bad. This wasn't supposed to happen. I have to go and pick up my children right now.
Yeah, I suppose Linda and Frank are probably wondering whose fault it is that their grandchildren are like that. You 3 will probably have plenty to talk about when you get there.
But why would they think that it's all my fault? Were you talking poorly about me to them or something?
Oh, I didn't have to do anything of the sort. I think that they figured out just whose fault it is all on their own. After all, why else would all your kids be running around as if they had never even heard of the word manners? But you didn't care about that either way. You just wanted to take your trip, which I was also sure to tell Linda about.
How could you do this to me? I just wanted to give you a chance at raising some kids. I was trying to be friendly.
Is that really what you call being friends? Because it certainly didn't seem that way to me. And I have to say that I didn't learn anything from that experience either. You just dropped off your kids without warning and expected me to be your free babysitter. Well, I heard from Linda that she told you to never talk to her again. I was also talking to my husband, and he said that we should probably keep our distance as well.
But then, that's the whole family. They're all against me now. I can't believe this is happening to me.
Yeah, it sounds like Linda and Frank were really furious with you. I mean, did you even apologize to them?
Of course I apologized to them. The moment they opened the door when I arrived to get my kids, I said I was sorry. But you should have seen the way Linda was looking at me. Her eyes were so cold, and you could tell she was blaming everything on me.
I even heard that Linda called your husband and told him all about what had happened.
It's true, and no, he's not going to be coming back from his business trip this weekend. But he said that he's going to go and stay with his parents for a while.
So I guess if you want to see him, you'll have to deal with all three of them lecturing you, huh? Although I hope you understand how you did this to yourself. Your husband went away on that trip hoping that he could count on you to take care of your family, and you just let the kids do whatever you want.
Shut up! You don't know what it's like to deal with 5 kids. You don't know what I've been through.
Well, whatever it was that you have been through, I hope you at least managed to release some stress while you were on your vacation.
Oh, just stop it already, will you? Did you know that I might get divorced because of you? I even hear that I might lose custody of my children.
Well, who knows? Maybe that might be the best. I mean, someone has to teach those children to behave. Not only that, but those kids need someone who is going to think about their future and make sure they have opportunities when they grow up.
But I gave my children all the opportunities they can have to do whatever they want. How is that any different from what someone else would do?
You know, I thought I respected you because of how many kids you had. I thought that surely you were having them responsibly and making sure to take care of them all. But now I understand that you have got to be one of the worst mothers I have ever seen. I mean, you hardly even do any parenting at all. But at least it sounds like we won't have to be dealing with you for very much longer. Whatever happens, though, I just hope that your children get the chances at a good life that you might have taken from them.
No, this isn't fair. I thought that we were friends. We're sister-in-laws. You can't just do this to me. You can't just leave me like this, please. I don't have anyone else on my side. I need you right now. Can't you see that?
After that, Donna settled down a bit and her texts were much less gloaty than before. Although it didn't change how Linda and Frank about her one bit. After her husband returned from his business trip that had kept them apart, he went to go and stay with his parents to find out about what happened. Donna went over there one day to talk to all 3 of them, and they decided there that a divorce was in order. Donna tried to protest, but she knew that she wasn't really going to get anywhere. After that, Donna's husband was granted custody of the children, and they all lived with Linda and Frank. I hear that all 3 of them are being very active in making sure that the children straighten up and fly right. As for Donna, after the divorce, she had to sell her house and move into a much smaller apartment, where she lives all by herself. I can't imagine the grief she must be feeling as a mother, but I wouldn't want my children raised by someone like her. So it's hard for me to truly empathize. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Hey, Vanessa, can you talk right now? Is everything okay? I was just messaging to see if you made it to the hospital okay. How are things over there?
Hey, Eric. Yes, I'm at the hospital now. My water broke maybe about a half hour ago now, I think. I don't know. It's all happened so quickly. But the doctor said that the contractions are probably going to start getting closer and closer from here on out. I guess this thing is really happening.
Oh, well, that's a relief to hear. I'm so glad that you're okay. I just want to let you know that I've left work and I'm on my way over there as we speak, okay?
You're already leaving work to come to the hospital and see me? But the contractions aren't even that far apart. I really don't know how long this whole thing is actually going to take, if I'm being honest with you. It could be hours from now before anything really happens.
That's okay with me. I just wanted to make sure that I was by your side for as much of it as I could be. You know that I want to do this together with you as much as we can.
Eric, thank you so much. I don't know what else to say. But I am sorry that you had to go to work at all today and then asked to leave after only working a couple of hours.
It's no problem at all. I really had barely anything to do today anyway. I made sure to get as far ahead of my schedule as I could so I would be okay with this. But we don't need to think about work at all, okay? The only thing that you and I should be focusing on is the baby that you're about to have, our baby.
I know! I really can't believe this is finally going to be happening. But you're right. We really should focus on this more than anything. I'm already starting to get pretty nervous. If I can be honest with you, I just hope that our little baby comes out healthy. That's all I want.
I think it's gonna be fine. Just take deep breaths and I'll be there with you soon.
Oh, I can't wait to see you. You know how long we've talked about finally getting to raise a child of our own? And now that it's finally happening, I just hope that the little one comes out healthy so that we can give it the best life we can.
I know what you mean. I wonder if all parents feel the way that you're feeling right now before this happens. But did something come up to make you especially nervous just now?
Well, it's just that I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore. And also, Danny was just saying a lot to me. She was saying how she had a friend who had a child at my age and it was born with a birth defect. So, I guess I've had that swimming in my head ever since.
Did my sister really say that to you? Oh, what is her deal? Why would she have to say something like that? She should have known better than to say something like that while you're pregnant. I wish you would have told me about this a little sooner.
It's fine. I'm sure that she was just saying it to try and be helpful. I'm sure that she didn't mean anything by it. So please, don't mention to her that I said anything. I don't want to cause any drama, you know?
You really are too sweet, you know that? I always have to tell myself how lucky I am to be with you. I mean, your parents kicked you out of the house when you were so young, and yet you're still such a kind and empathetic person. I just really admire that about you, you know?
Well, it was just a very hard time for me. It felt like I had no one that I could turn to. I just can't stand the thought of anyone going through what I did.
Well, I still think it's amazing how you can feel that way after all you've been through. But I'm happy that I made you into the person you are today.
Thank you so much, Eric. But right now, we really should be focusing on me delivering this baby. I mean, I think I'm still in the early stages of the whole process, so we'll just have to sit tight until the contractions start to get closer together, I suppose.
So then they haven't really changed at all since you got into the hospital?
I guess not. But they really didn't even start that long ago. I think my cervix is still closed tight and it's going to take some time for the contractions to push through it.
I see. But then you can still eat and all that, okay? There's no stomach problems that come along with having these kind of contractions, right?
I'm still eating like normal. I haven't really noticed any symptoms affecting my appetite or anything like that.
Got it. Well, that all sounds like positive news. Do you want me to bring you anything to eat?
I don't know if I should be having whole meals in this state, if I'm being honest. I would hate to have a full stomach when the contractions really start.
Well, that makes perfect sense, but I could still bring you some small things to snack on while you go through this.
You're right. A little bit of food couldn't hurt, surely. In that case, would you get that tea that I like? And maybe a bit of chocolate. And maybe any other kind of small, light things you think wouldn't be too much on my stomach right now.
You got it. In that case, I'll just stop at the store quickly and then head right to the hospital to see you.
Oh, great. I really can't wait for that, Eric. We've been waiting so long for this, and now it's finally going to happen. Just be careful and don't rush coming over here, okay?
Hey there! If it isn't my sister-in-law. I was just wondering if you'd gotten back home yet?
Yes, I'm back home now. I've actually been home since last week. It's only been 4 days, though, so I'm still feeling so shaky, and I'm just tired all of the time.
Yeah. I imagine that pushing a whole child out of your body would probably take it out of you. Actually, I don't have to imagine it at all, really.
Oh, by the way, I heard that you came to visit me in the hospital while I was sleeping. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm sorry that it's taken me until now to say anything, but I really do appreciate you making the effort to see me.
Of course! It's not a problem at all. Actually, it was my son who kept bugging me about wanting to see the baby. But I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be there when my mom was. I just know that she would have something to say to me.
So I guess that you two still haven't really patched things up entirely yet.
We haven't. But can you believe she's really holding on to this grudge just because I had a tiny little affair? She can honestly be such a shrew sometimes. I mean, even my son talks about how he wants to see his grandma. She doesn't realize that she's not just punishing me, she's punishing her grandson too.
Well, I'm sure if you just apologized to your mom and made it clear that you felt bad, that she would happily take you back.
Yeah, but I'm not actually even that bothered by what she's doing. If she wants to act that way, that's up to her. Speaking of affairs, I have to say that your baby doesn't look like my brother one bit.
Oh, you really think so? I think that she has Eric's ears and that his mouth is kind of a similar shape too.
Yeah, I think the baby looks way more like you than she does Eric, which really is just a shame. It's a pretty ugly baby is what I'm trying to get at here.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure I understand what you're trying to get at.
Oh, oops! Did I actually just press send on that message? Oopsies! But don't you think that the baby would look so much better if it resembled my brother more? I mean, it's just kind of a waste that the baby has my brother's genes, but none of the good looks that are going to come with that. Instead, she got your plain Jane features.
I think that babies actually change in appearance as they grow up. I'm sure in a few years she's going to start resembling his father in more visible ways.
Well, I certainly hope so. For the baby's sake, that is. I mean, I just feel bad for the fact that you had a little girl and now she's going to have to look like, well, you.
Danny, I'm really not quite sure if you're aware of this, but you are being just a little bit rude to me right now. And I really don't appreciate you saying these kinds of things about my newborn baby.
Oh no, Vanessa, I'm really sorry. I wasn't doing any of this to try and be mean. I guess I've just been sort of stressed, and I have a tendency to bad talk people as a way of relieving that.
Right, I see. Well, just please be more careful with your words in the future.
Of course! Anyways, I bet you must be swamped having to take care of this newborn and keep things around the house tidy, right? Let me know if there is anything that I can do to help out. I was thinking of bringing you some pre-cooked meals in the next couple of days. How does around 2 days from now sound?
Sorry, you want to come over in a couple of days? I just really don't know if I'm up for that physically, and the whole house is still a huge mess.
Well, I can do some cleaning for you then. I want to help.
I understand that, but don't you have work that you'll have to be at anyways?
Work? No, I don't have any work. I don't even have a job.
Wait, what? You mean that you haven't been working at all since you and your husband got a divorce?
Yeah, pretty much. I've been out of work ever since I took custody over my son. But that doesn't stop my ex-husband from still trying to tell me how to live my life.
But then what do you do to get by? Where does your money come from, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I still get child support payments, and I'll usually just make up some excuse for why I need more money some months, and I usually get my way. Basically, even though we're divorced, I still get to live off my ex-husband.
I see. And that's something that you want to continue to do.
You bet it is. Anyways, my little boy won't stop talking about how he wants to see the baby again. So that's another reason why I want to come over soon. By the way, did you and Eric decide on a name for her?
Yeah, we were going to call her Violet, actually.
Violet. That's such a lovely name. Thank goodness you didn't go with something ridiculous like some comic book character or something like that.
Well, Eric and I agreed that we wanted to put a lot of thought into what her name would be, so we spent a long time deciding. And when we talked about Violet, it was like something clicked inside of us.
Well, I'm glad that you two had such an easy time coming up with a name. Because have you heard of some of the crazy names that people come up with for their kids? I hear the names of some of the kids at my son's schools, and I just have to ask myself what on earth they were thinking.
Oh, really? Are there some pretty weird ones there?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you all about it when I see you in a couple of days, okay? If you could just get some snacks and juice for Ike, that would be great.
Wait, no. Sorry, Danny. I thought I said that I wouldn't be able to see you then. We might just have to reschedule until I'm feeling better.
No, sorry, I think you misunderstood. I said that I was going to go over to help you, okay? Don't worry, I have plenty of experience being a mom. You'll be in good hands. Just leave it all to me.
Danny, do you have any idea what you've done? What is the matter with you? I seriously don't even know what to say right now. You weren't invited and you showed up to our house anyway, and then you just proceed to really screw things up.
What are you talking about? All I did was go to visit my sister-in-law. Is that really so bad?
Vanessa told you that she didn't want to see you and that she would tell you when she was feeling better. But then you decided to show up and then demanded that Vanessa take Ike to the bathroom right away?
Well, what else was I supposed to do? Ike said that he really had to go and I didn't want him to pee himself.
But you continued to stay at the house even after he had finished using the bathroom. Why didn't you leave after that?
Well, it was just so hot outside that I thought we might stay for a little while and cool off. Why are you being like this, Eric? I don't get it. Did you want my son to overheat or something like that?
I'm not really worried about your son, to be perfectly honest. The only thing I'm worried about is Vanessa and Violet.
You're being such a huge jerk to me right now. Do you even realize that?
And you're acting like I don't have a good reason to be furious with you. Your son ran out of the bathroom with dirty toilet water all over his hands and got it all over Vanessa and the baby. You should have been keeping a better eye on your kid and stopping him from doing all that. Vanessa told me that there was a huge mess to clean up with the dirty water all over the floor. Do you think that's a healthy environment for a newborn to be raised in?
Wait a second. I don't get what you're trying to say. I mean, I wasn't the one who made the mess. It was my son.
Are you kidding me? Do you really not take responsibility as the parent as well? Ike literally snuck up behind Vanessa and dumped the dirty water all over her head.
Well, then that's her fault for not paying better attention to her surroundings.
Except for the fact that Ike did it with a bucket. What did he even get a bucket in the first place, huh? I think that you told him to dump the dirty water on Vanessa.
You really do have a wild imagination. Do you know that, bro? But I think you just need to calm down. I mean, all it was a harmless prank. It's not like a little water ever hurt anyone.
We're talking about soiled water straight from the toilet bowl.
Well, you really should have seen Vanessa's face when it happened. I mean, she's never been much to look at anyways, but covered in all that nastiness, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry out of pity.
I don't even know how to respond to any of that.
What do you mean? It's not like I did anything wrong. It was just a little prank is all. It's no big deal.
You do realize that Vanessa was the last friend you had, right? Your other friends and even our parents got sick of you acting without any consideration for others, and Vanessa was the only one patient enough to tolerate you.
So what? You think that makes her better than me or something? You can't just talk down to me like this. You think it's fair that my life blows up just because I got caught having an affair? That's not fair at all.
You really are such a selfish person. I don't even know why I bother talking to you sometimes. So you really don't care at all what you've done to this last person who was willing to talk to you, huh?
I already told you that none of this is my fault. My son went a little crazy and your wife just wasn't paying any attention. That's it. If anything, you should be mad at your wife. She got so mad at me that it made the baby cry. Have you talked to her about that?
I think that Vanessa is well within her right to be mad at you. And I'm sure the baby was already crying when it had water dumped on it. How can you not even admit a little bit of responsibility over this?
Okay, fine. I guess I'm the worst person in the world for doing this. Is that what you're trying to say? It's not like I killed anyone.
You really are a piece of work, you know that?
Maybe you should be focusing more on your wife and kid and less on being mad at me. You know how filthy that water probably was? You better make sure that nothing happens to the two of them. That would be just awful. Vanessa, are you there? Please, you have to help me. I'm begging you. My mom showed up to my house unannounced and just took Ike away from me. She told me that my ex-husband had been granted custody and that she was going to take Ike to his dad. Please, you have to do something to help me. I'm sure they're all at my parents' place. You have to take me there.
That is not going to happen, Danny.
Don't tell me that you're still mad about the little water fight that we had. It was just my son playing with some water. It's really not that bad.
I'm sure that you and Eric already talked about this, but you knew that Ike was going to do that to me, didn't you?
I didn't know anything. You all need to quit blaming me and take some responsibility for yourselves.
I don't believe a single word that you're saying to me at all. I know that being a single mother must be difficult, but it was clear just from the way you behaved in my house that you were doing nothing to raise Ike properly.
What are you talking about? What did you do?
Well, I told your mom about the toilet water incident and that both Eric and I are sure you had something to do with it. I mean, Ike never used to act like this at all until maybe about 6 months ago. Then it was like a switch was flipped and he started to act out.
Well, that's just because it's summer now and he gets really crazy when it gets hot. That's it, I swear.
You know, after you told me that you had quit your job, I passed that news along to your mom and she hired a private investigator to watch you.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that this is all your fault? You're the reason why my son was taken away from me? I thought I could trust you. I thought that we were friends.
I thought that I could trust you too, but clearly I was wrong about that. But I just couldn't sit by and watch as you manipulated your son into acting out and getting up to all kinds of mischief. Do you even use a single cent of the child support money you get on your son? Because we called your ex about this and he was shocked at what was happening with his son.
Wait a second. You called Paul and told him about what was going on?
That's right. So he knows about all of this as well.
How dare you! You had no right to do something like that. I'm sorry about the water, but you were taking things way too far. Now he'll have the completely wrong idea about me.
Well, it's too late for me to do anything about it now. And Paul also saw the reports that the PI compiled about you.
Please, you don't understand. Being a single mother is really hard. I just needed a break. Some me time. You can understand that, right?
I think it's been more than just a little break. The PI even went to go ask about Ike at his school and the teachers reported that he was always showing up in dirty clothes and smelled bad. You weren't even bathing him.
Please, you have to try to understand. It's really, really hard for me. You just don't get it.
I'm not the one you should be apologizing to. You need to apologize to Paul and Ike for all that you've put them through.
But why do I have to lose my son over this? It doesn't make any sense at all. Please, you can't do this to me.
If you couldn't handle raising him on your own in the first place, then you shouldn't have pursued custody over Ike. You should have just let Paul have him. He's clearly more capable of raising Ike than you ever were.
No, don't do this to me. Don't take my son away from me, please. I thought that I could trust you. I thought that we were friends, Vanessa. You wouldn't want your child taken away from you, would you? You just have to imagine that to even begin to understand what you're putting me through.
I promise you that I do not take any joy in what is happening at all. But I think that you just want to keep Ike so that you don't lose the child support money. But you were getting $2,500 from Paul every single month. And instead of spending it on Ike, you used it all for yourself. On top of that, you refused to get a job precisely because you're getting this money.
Okay, you're right. I understand now. I'll go and get a job and I promise to raise Ike right. Just please talk to my mom and tell her that she can't do this. I need you to do that for me. I promise that I'll never, ever let Ike run crazy and I'll teach him manners and I won't even make him pull any nasty pranks ever again. You're the only one that I have left.
You're almost right. I was the only one you had left. I tried too hard to be nice and kind and understanding and you spit it all back in my face. I'm sorry, but I just don't want anything to do with you ever again.
Please don't do this to me. I'm really, really sorry. I swear it. I was so jealous of how happy you seemed. Why did you get to be married and have a kid while I have to be a single mother? But I'll apologize for everything. I swear. I never meant for things to go like this.
I'm sorry, but now that I'm a mother, I understand that the child has to come first. And Ike is clearly in the wrong place with you.
But I won't have anyone left if you don't talk to me. Please, please, please. Oh, I'll be all alone. I need you to help me, Vanessa. You don't really want to do this.
You're right. I don't want to do this. But part of being a parent is knowing the difference between what you want to do and what you need to do. And you clearly haven't learned that lesson. After that, Danny tried calling me and her mom over and over again, begging for us to return Ike. The one thing she never did was actually come over to the house and try to get him back. Meanwhile, we waited at the house for a social worker to come by and explain to us and Ike what would happen next. It was decided that Ike would go to live with his father. The social worker also told us that this would mean that Paul could stop paying Danny child support. Meanwhile, Danny packed up her bags and disappeared overnight. There was no note or trace of her, just some of her clothes and a suitcase missing. We never ever heard from her again. Ike went to go and live with his father, and although I heard it was a rocky start, the two of them seem to be getting along famously now. We go over to visit Paul and Ike every now and then, and the last time we went, Ike even apologized for the water incident. He admitted that his mom had told him to do it, and said that she thought I would have found it really funny. He had no idea what he was doing. It made me happy to see that Ike was returning to his polite self under the care of his dad. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Hey Marie, my little sister is saying she wants us to look after her children this week. So that's not going to be a problem for us, right?
You mean that her children are coming to our house again this week, too?
Yeah, that's right. It seems that Rita and her husband have plans that they definitely can't miss.
But wait, Sean, you know that they just came here last week. Don't you think 2 weeks in a row is too much for us to handle?
Really? Because I don't think so. Even if the children visit us, they're just playing around with each other, so it's not such a big deal. And Marie, all you have to do is prepare the meals for the kids, right?
Are you seriously saying that? Do you think that's all I need to do when they visit us? Your little sister Rita has 5 children in total, you know?
So what does that mean? They're just always playing around with each other. What are you complaining about?
You actually think it's just simple as that? Because I don't think you're really understanding the situation. The biggest is in 2nd grade of elementary school, and the smallest is just 1 year old. So it's impossible for them to just play together. Basically, they play separately on their own, so I can't take my eyes off of all of them.
Really? Because last time, the 2 biggest kids were looking after the rest of the children.
That's because I was making them watch their favorite animation movie. That's actually the only time they'll calm down and be quiet. And since there's also the 1 year old, I just have to always look after that kid as well.
Well, if that's so, then why don't you just make them all watch the movie the whole time? Then I guess it would be much easier for you to look after the kids, wouldn't it? Well, then I can't.
Don't you know that children at that age don't have enough concentration to watch a movie for a long time? There may be some kids who do. But if one of them loses concentration, then that's it. All the other kids start getting distracted as well.
Well, then I can't imagine how Rita's handling all of them. She's looking after those 5 kids every day, so that's just amazing. I guess we can look after the kids at least on weekends to help reduce her burden. Since we don't have any children, I assume it would be a good parenting experience for you too.
But I do think the situation is different between taking care of your own child and other kids, though. And since I don't have any parenting experience, it actually makes it even harder for me to look after all 5 of them at once.
That's not true. You spend the year-end and New Year's holidays every year with Rita's children, right? The children are all getting along quite well with you, and you always seem fine looking after them, so that proves that you're taking care of them with no problem at all.
Well, that's because your family just leaves the children to me and always goes on a family vacation, right? Honestly, though, I was always wondering, why am I the only one who's not invited to the family vacation and has to stay home? It's not like I want to go on the family vacation with you, but I would assume that usually Rita's husband should look after his own children in that situation and not me, right?
Actually, Rita's husband is joining the family vacation as well, so we can't ask him either. And I don't want you to misunderstand this, feeling like you're being left out. My mother just takes them on a vacation because she wants to let my sister and her husband have a chance to relax, since they're always busy with parenting 5 kids. Though I'm joining them too. Remember, I'm just a tour guide and a driver to them.
But I'm saying, why am I the one that always has to look after the children? Can't Rita's husband ask his parents to do so?
Oh, regarding that, it seems that Rita hasn't asked her husband's parents to look after the children much. It seems like her mother-in-law is pretty annoying complaining about things to her. She's saying that her mother-in-law always makes sarcastic remarks, so Rita just doesn't like her at all.
But that doesn't make it acceptable for me to look after the children, right? Looking after 5 kids frequently is pretty exhausting for me, you know?
But when someone's in trouble, we should help out. We should help out each other, right? There might be a time in the future when we have kids that we will need to ask Rita the same favor to look after our kids, right?
Well, that may be true. But if that happens, I would probably not rely on them so much and would try to look after them on my own.
Well, anyway, you know that it's absolutely tough to raise 5 children, so we definitely should help Rita out as much as we can. And since Rita gave birth to so many children one after another, my mother stopped asking us, when are you having my grandkids? Which has actually turned out to be a thankful situation for us, right?
Well, your mother still actually mentions that to me sometimes, saying, when can I see my eldest son's grandkids? So I guess she still hasn't given up, and we're still going to have to continue to live with that.
But if my sister hadn't had that many children, my mother would have definitely mentioned that topic to us much more often. So it's just a give and take relationship, so let's continue to support my sister's family.
But I want you to understand that I do have my own life, and I have plans too. And of course, I'm working on the weekdays, so...
But that's why Rita only asks us to babysit her kids on weekends, right?
Well then, if you want to support her so much, why don't you look after them when you're off work? It's your sister's kids anyways.
No way. No way. There's nothing I could do as a man. And you were the one who was looking after them all this time. And I assume the kids are more used to you, so they would definitely prefer you over me.
Hey, aren't you being too irresponsible about this?
I'm not looking after them after I come home from work, right?
But you're just having dinner with them, you know? That's nothing compared to all the trouble I'm always going through.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta go now. I need to start preparing to visit my client. Anyway, I'm relying on you this weekend to take care of Rita's children, okay? Marie, I'm going to have to eat dinner at my parents' house today, so you don't need to prepare my dinner tonight.
What? You're going to your parents' house at this time of day?
Yeah, they need me to join because we're going to decide the destination of this year-end's vacation. You know what's coming up next month, right?
Well, if you're going to your parents' house, then I wish you could have let me know much sooner.
Oh, why is that? I assume you've been working today too, so you haven't started making dinner yet, right?
Well, actually, today is my payday, so I bought some expensive meat to cook for dinner tonight. If you had let me know earlier, I wouldn't have bought it.
Hey, I'm so sorry about that. I definitely want to eat that meat with you tomorrow, so why don't you go ahead and eat something else tonight instead?
Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
Oh, and about the winter holiday plans, I need you to leave December 30th open. Because our family is coming back from the vacation on January 2nd.
Is it going to be 3 nights and 4 days this year?
Yeah, it seems that Rita and her husband want to relax a bit longer this year. They're saying that because they don't have to plan to have any more children.
Well then, I should look after the children during that period, right?
Yeah, if you could look after them through those 4 days, that would be great. And I assume it's better to have the kids over and have some company than being all alone over the holidays, right?
Do you actually understand how tough it is to look after all of them just by myself? The elementary school kids may be fine on their own, but the other kids need to be watched practically all of the time.
Hey, don't complain about this again. It's only a family vacation once a year.
No, you know this babysitting is not happening just once a year, right? At first, I did accept to look after them during the year-end family vacation, but Rita is asking us to look after her children more frequently ever since that, and the babysitting opportunities are gradually increasing every year. Honestly, I do wish Rita and her husband would be more considerate about that.
Hey, Marie. You know that everyone in this family is always appreciating your support.
Do you really think so? Because I absolutely don't. If they were really appreciating what I'm doing for them, honestly, I don't think they would just leave me alone with the kids this frequently. If it was just a few times, I could handle this, but this is definitely going past the limits.
Marie, you know we don't have any children. If you continue to say things like that, Rita might think that we're jealous of her family.
What? Why do you say that? Sean, I can't believe you actually don't think this situation is wrong at all. First of all, I think you're wrong to always listen to Rita's favors and accept looking after her kids so easily. Because I haven't been agreeing to that at all. Have you ever thought about the trouble I have to go through before accepting the babysitting from her?
Oh, you're so narrow-minded.
What? How could you say such a thing?
We're a family, and that's what families do to support. It's not like they're asking us to look after the kids every day. So why are you refusing to this so much? I didn't think that you were so cold-hearted. I'm really disappointed that you feel that way.
Are you seriously understanding the situation? Because it's me that has been actually looking after the kids for all these years, going through all the trouble and efforts. Sean, honestly, you don't look after them at all.
It's because unfortunately Rita always asks us to watch her kids when I have plans. It's just as simple as that, you know.
Fine, that's it. Now I finally understand that your family matters are more important to you than me.
Come on, Marie. You're just acting like a child, you know? Anyway, this vacation is like an annual family event for us. So I need you to watch the kids this year too, since my family is really looking forward to this vacation.
Okay, fine, I get it.
Hey, Marie, don't get sulky. Of course I will help out to try to look after the kids whenever I can. Oh, sorry. I'm almost at my parents' house, so I guess I'll talk to you later. All you have to do tonight is to have hot water in the bathtub ready for me. Finally, I finished all the work I needed to do.
Oh, really? Oh, you must be tired.
Although yesterday should have been the best, it should have been the last day of work this year. I didn't expect there would be this much trouble after that. And it seems that I was the only one who had to go to work to handle this. Can't believe my boss would just leave all of this for me to handle.
Well, unfortunately, I am the one who has to look after the kids right after my last day of work. So for your information, I'm going to be exhausted just as you are.
Hey, are you still going to complain about that? I assume once you see the kids' smiling faces, you would think that it was worth looking after them, right?
Well, I'm not sure about that. Sean, you're going to your family's hotel straight from work without stopping by our home, right?
Yeah, because unfortunately I won't be able to make it in time for the bullet train. But I'm glad I don't have to drive the car this time during the vacation, though. Well then, I've just closed the office now, so I'm headed off to the train station.
Oh, really?
Hey, stop being so cold to me. Well, anyway, thanks for looking after the kids this year, too. My family and I really appreciate your support. Well, I'm going off on vacation with my parents and my sister's family. So I hope you enjoy the holidays with the kids, Marie.
Yeah, right. And I hope you enjoy your last vacation with your family.
Did you just say last? What do you mean by that?
I'm saying it's going to be the last family vacation with just you adults.
I don't think so, because my family is not planning to make this the last vacation. We'll probably go next year, too.
Yes, it definitely will be the last because I'm not going to look after the kids during the holidays next year.
What? Why are you suddenly saying that? But if you don't look after them, there isn't going to be anyone who we can ask to do so. Don't you feel sorry for my sister's family? Don't say such horrible things.
Well, if I actually get divorced with you, I'll no longer have a relationship with your sister's family, right? Then I wouldn't have to take care of the kids anymore, wouldn't I? So, I'm going to divorce you and put an end to this. That's why this is going to be your last vacation.
What? A divorce? Hey, wait, Marie. That's a terrible thing to say. And you're making such a big fuss about this.
No, Sean, I'm absolutely serious about this. I'll look after them up to this year, but remember, there will be no next year for this. So, I need you to sign the divorce papers after you come back home from the family vacation.
Marie, you do know that I'm going off on this vacation to relax myself from this year's exhaustion. So why can you say such a horrible thing to me at this timing? Are you enjoying saying this to me to make me mad?
Well then, when can I have some time to relax myself from a year's worth of exhaustion? While you guys are out on a vacation relaxing, I actually have to stay all alone looking after the kids. I basically have no time to take any rest during the winter holidays like you guys. So I think you're the one who's actually doing such horrible things, making me feel miserable like this. You keep saying that your sister is working so hard, so you want to support her, but you've never cared about my feelings and what I've been going through.
No, that's not true. Remember, I did listen to your complaints, right? And I did tell you that my family appreciates what you have been doing for them.
Well, it's easy to just say things. But I can't see that you actually mean it from your behavior because you're really just listening and practically doing nothing. You never did anything to support me during the tough times.
Marie, you definitely need to calm down at once. Why don't we discuss about this when I return from the family vacation, okay? I hope you have some time to cool down your anger while I'm out on this vacation.
Even though I mentioned the word divorce to you, I can't believe you're still trying to go on this vacation under this situation.
Well, we did pay so much money for this family vacation as it is the year-end holiday period, you know. And my family is waiting for me, so I'm sorry, Marie. Please do understand that I'm not saying that my family is more important than you, but it's like an annual family event that I absolutely can't miss. I just can't be the one to be absent on this family vacation because my family is counting on me.
Oh, really? Well then, I guess that makes everything clear. Now I really understand your feelings, Sean.
Really? Well, then I'm so glad. So how about this? I'll remember to buy you a lot of souvenirs so that's something you can look forward to when I come home. And I'll be sure to give you a call once after New Year's. Hey, Marie. Where have you gone? We came back from the family vacation and my sister's kids have left now, so let's go to the festival together. There's some shops out there too, so why don't we go out for a walk to check it out?
Nope, I'm not going.
Hey, don't start pouting like that. Are you still angry about leaving the kids along with you? Remember I bought you the souvenirs? You see, I bought your favorite local ramen for you. And I even bought you local wine as well, though it was pretty expensive.
Well, sorry, but I don't need any of them. Don't you still remember that I said I was going to divorce you? Did you just forget about that? After I sent off Rita's kids, I left the house right after that. And I packed up my belongings during the holidays, so I don't plan to go home. So, I'm ready to divorce you anytime.
What? You're saying that you were actually serious about the divorce?
Yes, of course I was. But I knew you weren't taking this seriously enough because you got all carried away with going on the family vacation.
But you said that you understood my feelings, so I thought we were already over that.
What I finally understood was that you'll never listen and try to care about me no matter what happens. Because you actually chose your family vacation over our divorce. So that means that your family is more important than my feelings, right? It has always been that way, And I assume that it won't change in the future either.
No, that's not what I meant. I just wanted to say that I really do care about you.
No matter what you say, I'm sorry, but I just can't seem to believe you anymore after going through all this. I've made up my mind about this, so can we just move on? So, when can we actually start discussing about the divorce? Because I need to call our lawyer. I'd like to begin with the procedure as soon as possible if you can just tell me your available dates.
I'm sorry. Could you just wait? This is happening so suddenly. I'm just so confused and can't think properly now.
What?
Well, don't you understand? We were doing perfectly fine together, right? It's not like I had an affair or did anything wrong, you know? So I can't understand why you just suddenly brought up the divorce.
So I'm saying I had to go this far because even though I asked you so many times before, you didn't try to care about me at all. You would always just make me look after Rita's 5 kids without thinking it might be a burden for me. So I'm just fed up with this, and it's impossible for me to continue this marriage. And going back to your comment saying that we were doing fine, well, I guess that's just what you thought, because things were not going fine for me as I was thinking about a divorce from a while ago.
Hey, you know it's better to bring up the kids with the whole family supporting them.
Did you just say the whole family? Excuse me, but did you or your parents ever look after the kids before? Because I do believe that it was always me that was doing the tough job all alone.
Well, basically I was always at work when they came to our house.
Well, I have a job too, you know?
No, I mean that when my sister asks us to watch over the kids, I was always at work. And my parents are saying that it's really tough for them to take care of 5 kids. You can understand that because my parents are pretty old, right?
But that doesn't mean that I have to look after them by myself without any help. And in addition, I've been saying to you all this time that I'm not willing to do this daycare for the kids at all. But you never listen to me.
Well, that's a cruel thing to say that you don't want to accept the kids. Even if they are not directly related to you, they are your nephews and nieces, you know.
Are you saying that because they're relatives, I have to watch them anytime? If Rita and her husband get sick or has matters that they really need our help to look after the kids, then I won't complain at all. Even if it's just like when they want to have a break sometime, I wouldn't mind. But you know that's not the situation, right? And it's gone way past the limits. Rita just started to bring the kids to us frequently and would practically go out every week. And don't you think it's ridiculous that I'm the only one that has to stay home while you guys go on a family vacation during the year-end holidays?
Well, that's because we don't have any children and...
Well, if you think that way, then why don't you just stay here with me and take care of your nephews and nieces without going on the vacation? Even if you do stay with them, you don't look after them much either and just leave everything to me all the time. So that's it. I'm definitely not going to be a convenient babysitter for your family anymore.
All right, I get it. Next time I promise that I'll look after the kids with you. Does that solve the problem? So please don't go through a divorce.
You're always just words, you know? You've been saying similar things up until now, but you never kept that promise. And I know you're just saying this to make me calm down now and avoid the divorce. I'm definitely not falling for that anymore.
No, I definitely mean it this time. I promise that I will take care of them from now on.
But I finally decided to go through a divorce because I can't believe what you say anymore. If I say that I'm not willing to look after the kids, you say that I'm narrow-minded. I'm sorry, but I just can't put up with this situation any longer. I just hate you saying that I'm wrong about this. And not just you, but also your family who doesn't take this matter seriously at all.
Marie, I'm so sorry. Hey, I admit that I was completely wrong about this. From now on, I will refuse looking after the kids even if my sister asks us. And we'll never go on the year-end family vacation with my family. So can you please reconsider about the divorce?
Unfortunately, it's too late to try to make up for all of this. You should understand from now on how much trouble you and your family has caused to me all this time.
My family and I really do appreciate what you have done for us. Even if you didn't notice, our family did think of you as a true family member.
But you see, we're not a family. At least that's what I thought after being treated this way. And I've actually never been invited to the family vacation. I'm now quitting trying to pretend to be a convenient family member. Since we are now going to be complete strangers, so don't ever think of relying on me. After that, my husband and I finally were able to go through a divorce 3 months later, after going through many discussions. Though my husband tried to refuse the divorce until the very end, as he noticed that my feelings towards him would never change, and he finally gave up. And after I left the house that I lived at with my husband, it seems that his family had to go through many tough times. First, Rita, my sister-in-law, just got furious and started having fights with her husband, since she now doesn't have any support to leave her kids or go out. And as Rita started to leave her 5 kids to her parents, they got so exhausted taking care of them, they ended up just lying in bed. In that situation, as it was now only my husband who was the one left to watch over the kids, my husband got furious because the kids were so annoying and everything was getting out of control. As he continued to complain about that to his sister, it seems that he finally got into a fight with Rita up to the point where even they had to cut off their family relationship. So as a result, the kids had to live half the time at Rita's house and half at Rita's husband's parents' house for a while. As my husband finally realized how tough it is to look after and manage the 5 kids, he came back apologizing to me many times. Though it's absolutely too late to apologize. I wish he could have at least noticed what I was going through much more earlier. But I can't believe the situation would turn out to become this worse, as so many adults were being involved and were watching after the kids than when I was babysitting them. And it's not the kids' fault at all. I do feel sorry that they had to witness all of these horrible scenes of adult fights going on within the family. However, I guess this became a good opportunity for the whole family to realize that they need to seriously take action to improve the parenting environment for the kids. And it seems that Rita's parents-in-law are pretty strict, so I can assume that they can teach her a good lesson about how to treat and look after their kids. Even though I eventually had to hand this responsibility over to others, as an adult that was involved in the kids' lives for a few years, I do continue to pray for their growth and future happiness. And as I have now finally cut off the relationship with my husband and his family, which I thought were wrong about all of this, I'm really looking forward to finally being able to spend some quality time for myself moving forward. And from now on, I hope to spend time with people who really do care about me. Thank you for watching Peep Talk videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to leave any comments. Please visit us again to check out the next video.